Hello and welcome to NerdRant. This is going to be different from the NerdRants I've done in the past. So I almost made this a new segment called Pseudo What Now, but I didn't want to just keep adding segments. So I can fit into this, and here's where it belongs now. So these are going to be on the first two issues that Gorilla Grodd appeared in, which is 106, the first appearance, and then 107, which was a week later, where Grodd made a comeback. And the reason I want to do this, so reading through these old comics for the last video I did, there's so much in these old comics that just don't have any logic behind them, any solid logic behind them. They come up with these really interesting, elaborate ideas, but they don't have any real hardcore science to back it up. Like in current comics, they try to come up with real theoretical reasons as to why they can do what they do. That you as the reader just looking at oh yeah, sure, that makes sense. But back then they're just no one cares. They don't need to give that information, so they just whatever. That's just what happened. So here's a couple examples from the issues that I read. And here's the first one. So Grodd is in a nuclear-powered craft, which back then, what wasn't? It's all it's described as. It's a nuclear-powered craft, which was a rocket ship that he launched out of Gorilla City to Central City. Flew across the Atlantic, then he started to get picked up on radar, so he dove under the Atlantic and tunneled from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to Central City, Central Park. Just came right up, and that's where he made his base of operations. And that's that. In that same comic, they have a problem with his friend Fred, who was playing a gorilla in a play, thinking that he was the gorilla. And they never really go back to describe why he was feeling tired. His thing was oh, I feel tired, so maybe I'm going out at night being the gorilla. How Spider-Man would feel tired every night because the symbiote would take him out and, be a superhero while Spider-Man's supposed to be sleeping. So he wakes up feeling tired as if he was doing something all night. They never go back and explain, if he had, a sleeping problem or anything like that. It's just, that's just whatever. They don't go back to it even a little bit. And Barry's just you don't have to worry about the gorilla anymore. Don't worry. But it never explains, you've been sleeping better? Are you okay? Too much on that. So after Solivar breaks out, which is just as simple as him just pulling apart the bars and just walking out of the cell, which, why didn't he just do that sooner? He could have probably just broken out at night or whatever and made his way back home. But anyways, he goes and uses his scientific senses to track down Barry's speed radiation trail. And I said that in the past video, but you need to remember, this is before the Speed Force did not become an established thing until Wally West's era. So this is super early on. So there isn't a Speed Force, as far as we know, in this time in Barry, in the Flash's career. All we know about his super speed is that he just moves faster than other people. Way faster, but that's it. There isn't a mystical force or another another force giving him his abilities. We don't know if there's any radiation to follow, but apparently there is. And Solivar just tracks it back to Barry's apartment and just goes and sits down on Barry's couch and waits for him to come home. Hello, I'm a gorilla who speaks. Don't be frightened. And Barry's gorilla in my house. Hello. So after that, he explains about the Gorilla City, which most of us know about. Is just it's that hyper advanced city that from the hyper advanced gorillas or hyper intelligent gorillas that they built. But it's supposed to be hidden and supposed to be no one's supposed to be able to find it. It's supposed to be invisible, honestly. So it says in the comic, I'll put it up here. It says what Barry's word for word is. Based on what you've told me, it should take us about half a second to get there. So we're led to believe that what we're reading right now is Barry going across the Atlantic Ocean with a 400-pound gorilla, suspectedly on his back, dashing across the Atlantic Ocean to the exact spot in half a second where that city is. And they get there without missing a beat. But, how did Barry know how did Barry know exactly where it was? Because I can only imagine that, if they did not know exactly where it was, Barry would be, Solivar would be on top of his back, yeah, Barry, now take a left here, and I'm going to bust these trees, and whatever. But he ran half a second. And Solivar can't, keep up with what had happened in half a second. They can't have a conversation. And there's just nothing about it. So Barry just way to go, Barry. Straight from your apartment to the hidden city that no one else has ever found before, just because Gorilla Grodd's like, yeah, or because Solovar's just like, yeah, it's like here-ish. And then after that, another point that I made in the previous video is Solovar tells Barry, after Barry defeats Grodd, that yeah, you running around him in a circle like that got rid of his ability to use the force of mind. But there's no rhyme or reason as to why. There's no explanation. Nothing. So I'm just like, Solovar, are you sure? Are you absolutely positive that he doesn't have the force of mind technique? Like, what backing do you have for that? Just because Barry ran around him in a circle and knocked him out, that he can't force people to do what he wants anymore. There's no answer, and I really wish. Here I'm gonna put together a reason. So my theory, because here's what happens: Solovar says that he got rid of Flash got rid of that ability. However, Grodd shows up literally in the next episode, and apparently he had been out for a week already, and they didn't notice. So my theory is that maybe Grodd used the force of mind technique to make Solovar tell Barry that the ability was gone, so Barry would leave. There, I fixed that one. It's retconned by me personally, right there. You were here. All right. So yeah, Grodd's escape. A week later, he just leaves. he had been gone for a week, and people were attending to an empty cage. They just thought that he was there, and turns out that he wasn't. They're like, oh yep, oops. And then there's how they contact Barry. So after they find out that Grodd's escaped, Solovar decides to contact Barry, which all they do is because like Barry was in the city, they had logged his vibrational frequency, and they're able to just patch like his vibrational frequency into a telephone. So Solovar just like talks to a phone and talks to Barry directly into Barry's head. Barry's like, okay, Gorilla Grodd's gone, so he goes and tries to go back to where the city was. And like I said before, the city's supposed to be hidden. So Barry goes exactly to where he was last time, and the city is not there, because it's not supposed to be able to be found. So how did he find it before so easily? Because he went back to exactly where it was before, and it just wasn't there. So Barry does find the city, and so Grodd, apparently what he had done, he went into the center of the Earth, where there's another, in the DC universe, I mean, maybe ours, we don't know, for sure, in the DC universe, there is a, like, center of the Earth, journey to the center of the Earth style of, like, Earth. There's a civilization down there. A civilization of bird people. So, like, people with wings, not like Hawkman and Hawkwoman. I mean, kind of like them, but they're not the same thing. Which raises another question to me. Why is it that the people that live in the center of the Earth, with a finite ceiling, develop the ability to fly and have wings, but us, who have endless sky to fly through, did not? I don't know. So anyway, these bird people, they got wings. Grodd's been mind controlling them to do whatever he wants, because, like I said, there's no reason to why he lost the ability, and that's because he didn't. He still has the force of mind technique. I've been staring at the lights for like 20 minutes now. They get real bright. So afterward, anyway, Grodd chose the center of the Earth because he knew, one, that there's a different atmosphere down there. For why he knew that, I don't know. It's not explained. Grodd chose the center of the Earth because the atmosphere down there would act. Once Barry tries to use his super speed down there, once Flash starts to go at super speed, it would freeze him in like this crystal stuff, because that's what the atmosphere is. Grodd knew that. I don't know why. No one knows why. So obviously Barry goes down there and he freezes in the crystal or whatever, and Barry breaks out because Grodd put him up on display, and he was able to shake himself back and forth until he fell down and the crystal shattered. So as long as Barry then figured out, like, okay, I can use my super speed, but not like too fast, and then I won't freeze. So we're okay. But yeah, that's the whole comic was just stuff like this. It's just so weird, but I love it. It was so entertaining to read. I was laughing, like the whole time. If you want to chuckle, read old comics. It's just great. It's just pseudoscience is my favorite science, easily. I hope you guys like that video. I'm gonna wrap it up here. That's all I got. I think. I'm sure there's something I didn't write down while I was reading this because I was laughing too much. Anyways, here's the Gorilla Grodd video I was just talking about. Here's another one on the Flash, or all 4 flashes rather. And press the button right up here to subscribe to our channel. And we're trying to bring videos 3 times a week. So look forward to that. If you like this, if you didn't like this, let me know in the comments below. And I'll talk to you. Bye.